You're watching Ticket TV. Like, share, and subscribe on your way in.
All right, you guys. Like, share, subscribe. Salute to everybody that's going to tap on in. I want to talk about this because I got a lot of heat because of my stance on the Nolan Wells case, which is what I've been telling people to just practice cautiousness. The same way Ben Crump is. The same way Ben Crump is out here telling people to just, wait till the facts come out and don't speculate. Only deal with facts. I've felt like that is true. True statement. Now, I've showed you guys official reports that investigators have released on this channel. I showed y'all official paperwork. I've showed y'all different things that have been released by the investigators, the Cajun Navy, and things like that. But I want to go a little bit further. And one brother, he kind of beat me a little bit to it. And salute to him. I just saw him put out the video, so he made me kind of rush my video because I was gonna put this video out later on. But Cole figure, salute to him. I seen him put this out, man. And I think he's kind of on to what I'm on now. What am I talking about? I don't like Officer Tatum, but when he said something, he made me think about something. And I ain't even talking about Nolan Wells. I'm telling y'all about Benjamin Crump. I asked myself, who sent Tatum? Who sent Tatum to get involved in this situation the way he is? Because why would those boys go and have him, not the boys, but why would they choose, their parents or their representatives choose to do an interview with him? Out of all people, they could have went anywhere, Fox News, anywhere. And then I started to think about different things that he was saying about the case. And he said something. Now, I've questioned everybody in this case about a couple of things. I've questioned about the timeline because I wanted to see the timeline of Nolan Wells' death, and I wanted to see the toxicology. Ben Crump alluded to the toxicology in his recent interview with Art of Dialogue. Shout out to Art of Dialogue, one of the greatest in the time, right? So Ben Crump said he's waiting on the toxicology as well. That's going to be very important. Why is that very important? Because that's going to tell us a lot more as well. I don't want to get into that. I want to get into what I'm going to show y'all right now, which is going to change and blow your minds what I'm going to show y'all. Tatum was so upset about Ben Crump getting involved in this case. But I just couldn't believe it just came from just him. See, I was thinking, I said, yo, and I told y'all, everybody that know me on this channel, listen to this channel, I told y'all, Ben Crump, I think, stepped into something that may be bigger than anything. Now, let me put this to the side. Ben Crump, Tatum. Let me put Nolan Wells' situation to the side. I did some research that nobody has talked about on the internet yet, except for one person. I've seen him talk about it. So I had to shout him out. He kind of beat me to it because I've been alluding to it the last few videos. When Tatum said what he said, he made me do research on Horn Island. And the research I did on Horn Island, doing my research, is if there had been allegations of underage drinking and illicit drug usage on Horn Island in the past. Why did I say that? Because I've been telling y'all on these videos that Horn Island is basically lawless. Not really any cops, any rangers, lifeguards, none of that. Right? Think about what I'm saying now. Ben Crump comes down there. If Ben Crump exposes, because there's going to be some fat ass lawsuits. Trust what I tell y'all this. But this shit may be deeper than rap. And I'm telling y'all, let's talk about this real quick. So it says, yes, there have been historical allegations and legal cases regarding illicit drug usage and smuggling on and around Horn Island, Mississippi, stretching back several decades. Because of the island's isolation, lack of law enforcement presence, remember I told y'all? Lack of law enforcement presence. Remember I said, hey, Ben Crump might be getting ready to bust some shit up. Motherfuckers at the highest level may hate Ben Crump after this because it's bringing so much attention to something that had no attention. And I'm going to show you. There have been historical allegations and legal cases regarding illicit drug usage and smuggling on and around Horn Island, Mississippi, stretching back several decades. Because of the island's isolation, lack of law enforcement presence, and wilderness status, it has historically been a point of interest for both local partygoers and maritime drug smugglers. Let's go back one. The Dixie Mafia and Gulf Coast smuggling in the 1970s through the 1980s. Historically, the barrier islands off the Mississippi Gulf Coast, including Horn Island and Ship Island, were frequently cited in federal investigations as a drop-off or staging points for maritime drug smuggling operations. Y'all can go look that up. Y'all can go look that up yourself. Let's keep going. During the height of the Dixie Mafia's operations, right? You see this along the coast. Law enforcement routinely monitored the barrier islands. Smugglers used shrimping boats and speedboats to bring marijuana and cocaine in from South America, occasionally occasion or dropping shipments near and uninhabited islands to be picked up by smaller local vessels and brought into Jackson or Harrison County harbors. Number two, underage drinking and narcotics use at boat parties. For decades, Horn Island has not just now, for decades, Horn Island has been widely known for large, unregulated holiday boat gatherings, such as Memorial Day, the 4th of July, and Labor Day. Let me repeat that again. For decades, number two, Horn Island has been widely known for large, unregulated holiday boat gatherings. What happens if Ben Crump comes down here and exposes a lot of bullshit that's going on here on this island? Ooh, a lot of people will be mad. Because do you smell what the Rock is cooking? Do you smell what the Rock is cooking? See, I told y'all. Let's keep going. For decades, Horn Island has been widely known for large, unregulated holiday boat gatherings such as Memorial Day, the 4th of July, and Labor Day. Local law enforcement and residents have frequently complained about the island's culture. Ooh. I wonder why ABC, NBC, CBS, and every other news station ain't down there right now. Remember I told y'all this a week ago? I said, why are they really mad at Ben Crump? It ain't about race. I told y'all, they're not mad at Ben Crump about race. They mad at Ben Crump because I told y'all Ben Crump might go down there and stumble on some shit and make a mess because he got the top investigators independent on this case, which is why I asked Tatum, and I said, Tatum, why the F is you mad that they went and got Ben Crump? When Tatum said, oh, they could have went and got a local lawyer, which is why I said I watched Tatum. I watch everything he said, but that's okay, follow me. So the enforcement gap, and we're gonna get right into this because I told y'all, everybody in this YouTube space who was saying one thing was probably wrong. Every one of them. Right? Let's read. The enforcement gap. Because Horn Island is part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore and designated as a federal wilderness area, it is primarily under the jurisdiction of the National Park Service, NPS, y'all. Prior complaints. With very few park rangers patrolling thousands of acres, locals have frequently documented and alleged rampant underage drinking, recreational marijuana usage, and the use of illicit party narcotics during these massive wrapped up parties. Local sheriff's departments have historically noted that they lack, listen, y'all, this is very important because I told y'all, why wasn't that many cops or patrol rangers or anybody down there? Because it's the land of the lawless. Listen, prior complaints was very few park rangers patrolling thousands of acres. Locals have frequently documented and alleged rampant underage drinking, recreational marijuana usage, and use of illicit party narcotics during these massive wrapped up parties. Listen now, local sheriff departments have historically noted that they lack the jurisdiction or watercraft to consistently police federal island territory, leaving it largely self-governed by the boaters. That's a cold piece. That's a cold piece. But let's keep going. The regional operational pipeline interdictions, while direct massive drug boats on the sand of Horn Island are rare due to its remote nature, the U.S. Coast Guard and the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources have routinely made narcotic arrests in the immediate waters surrounding Horn Island. These typically involve arresting boaters operating under the influence or possessing controlled substances while traveling to or from the island's popular North Shore anchorage spots. When you bet, you never fucking bet against ticket. You never bet against a ticket. Because I told y'all, this may not even be what the fuck you think about. Ben Crump may have stumbled onto something different. And why would people be so angry that Ben Crump is coming around? Because when Ben Crump comes, he's coming with private investigators, people who aren't invested into whatever the hell they got going on. He's coming with outsiders to investigate every crack, nook, and cranny. And you better believe, I'm telling you this. And I've said this, and this is why everybody that came in here, oh, ticket, what you really? No. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. See, I'm going to tell y'all something. Tatum should have never said what he said. Because when Tatum said what he said, he made me think. When he first said that, he made me think. And I just didn't think about the young fella. I thought bigger than that. Bigger than that. So I had to go see, well, what the hell? Is there any complaints about in the past about this? There have been rampant complaints, but it's been kept under wraps from the mainstream media. And this is the reason why. But now we have a situation which may now, with Ben Crump being down there, this is the reason why so much angst. Because this rabbit hole, we never know what Ben Crump and them stumbled on or may stumble on. This shit may be so big, it may get disgusting. So I told y'all, everybody that's talking, you may have been wrong about the people that you were pointing at. Because when I look at the history of Horn Island, maybe you should too. And I'm going to say it again. People saying, oh, it's a ritual. Take that ritual and stick it up your ass. I don't want to hear no ritual. You guys say the same thing about Tupac Shakur. You say the same thing about everybody that dies. It's bullshit. Some of this stuff is just basic, you know. But this situation right here, But Ben Crump got all them outside investigators, people who are not, they don't have any connection to those people down there. They don't care about what those people think about them. They only care about finding justice for what happened to Nolan Wells. And during that investigation, I'm just telling y'all this. I'm telling y'all this. Release the name, Crump. Not Crump, Tatum. Tatum, you said you got a name. Tatum said he got a name. Tatum says that he has a name of a person who was down there pushing. If that's the case, Tatum, and you really want to help the case, release the name. Release the name. Because that may lead to something very bigger. And you don't know what it may lead to. And Ben Crump may be sitting on a stupid lawsuit. I don't even think that Tatum cares about Ben Crump coming down here and talk, because he just made it up talking about Ben Crump saying he never said those boys was racist. Ben Crump never said those boys committed any crime. He's never said anything that these YouTubers have said. Ben Crump has not acknowledged that that audio was real. He said, hey, I got the official CTO audio and I got the real forensic experts in the audio and checking that audio. He ain't worried about that now. He would have been on that. I guarantee you. See, I'm telling y'all, that timeline, I think the timeline is different. And that's just me telling y'all the truth. I think the timeline is different. Right? I think the timeline is completely different. That's what I think. See, I think the timeline is between 6 and 7:15 p.m. when a lot of people started to leave off and there were less and less witnesses. And when you said those timelines, no. I said because there was a witness. And somebody says, oh, well, all you got is Yahoo and TMZ. No. Essence reported this as well. ABC, numerous outlets reported this. Essence Ben reported this. I just didn't show you Essence reported that. Essence Ben reported that, dog. One thing about me, I don't have no reason to come on here and lie to you. Essence Ben reported that the witnesses, the last ones to see him, was at 6 p.m. Essence Ben reported that. That been in Essence magazine. So for you to say that, that's a stone cold lie. That I was the only one. And I can prove it if you want. I mean, it ain't nothing to me to prove what I said, because I stand on what I said. You know why? Because I don't just listen to the first thing people throw at me and think that shit is real. I look at the big picture. I want to see everything. I want to see every aspect of everything involved. So when I said that, when I said what I said, matter of fact, I can show you better than I can tell you. Let me see if I can pull this article up for you guys. Let me see if I can pull this up. Because I think that it's time for some real clarity, man. And I think that it's time for the family to have peace at their heart. Right? Right? Now let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Right? Let me see if I can pull it up for y'all. Because y'all know I wasn't lying. Y'all know I ain't capping. When I told y'all Essence reported on this. Essence reported on this on the 29th. Don't believe me? Since you said, oh man, and that's a black publication, Essence. And other publications as well that I have proof of, but since you, for shits and giggles, want to see it, I'll show it to you. July the 29th, Essence. The investigation into the death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells, Xavier Wells, took another turn this week as newly revived evidence raised more questions about his final hours. Newly reviewed boat footage and GPS data reportedly confirmed Wells was not on the towed vessel after a distress call was placed from Horn Island on July the 4th. Video obtained shows 7 people on board, but Wells is absent from the boat. The footage follows the release of a 911 distress call in which a teenager is heard saying, "We are sinking. Can y'all please come?" after the boat's bilge pump reportedly failed. The developments also add another layer to conflicting witness accounts about when Wells was last seen. While friends told investigators they left him at the island around 4:30 p.m., witnesses reportedly told the police they saw Wells on Horn Island as late as 6 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, I think that Ben Crump, the great legendary Ben Crump, is going to find some shit he was never supposed to find. I think that when this is all over with, everybody who doubted what I was saying, to be patient and wait, is going to put some effing respect on my effing name. Because I'm legendary when it comes to this shit. And I think Ben Crump, because of Big Mouth Tatum, is going to stumble on something. Tatum should have never said nothing. I asked myself, who is behind Tatum's involvement in this case? Because Tatum was so, because see, I'm telling y'all this. I mean, it makes you don't want to believe about what he's saying about the boys, but he's so animate behind this shit. And then he said something. Like, he said something and led you to know that he knows some information that everybody else don't know. He went to Mississippi. I told y'all, Tatum's an ex-cop. I would ask Tatum, when you went down to Mississippi, did any cop break procedure? See, Tatum's not gonna snitch on a cop. Coy says, what if I'm wrong? I ain't wrong. I ain't wrong, baby. I ain't wrong. Ben Crump's gonna see. Ben Crump is a legend in our time. And I told you guys from the beginning, this is probably Ben Crump's biggest case ever. Ever. Out of all of them, this is the granddaddy. Because I think what Ben Crump is gonna unfold in this case, because I told everybody listen to this video, I don't believe that Nolan Wells just drowned. I don't believe that at all. I do believe it's foul play. But I believe everybody that's pushing a certain narrative is wrong about what they have thought and said. And I believe that Ben Crump, the great Ben Crump, in the end, along with the police department, because here's the thing, Ben Crump coming in this case with his own investigation, they can't cut corners. They can't leave this part out. They can't protect nobody because they don't know what Ben Crump team gonna find out. That's why when all these motherfuckers was on YouTube crying about the Go Fund Me or the Give Send Go for the family? No, that's for to pay for all them investigators they're gonna have for all this time. See them, you need them, you need top money for top investigators. Them top investigators gonna shake that whole place down. They're gonna find out everything. They're gonna go to every bar, every store, every residence close to there. They're gonna go to every single local that lives close to that damn island. And they're gonna ask questions. And I wonder if the questions that they ask are going to render the answers that I showed y'all in the history of Horn Island. Number two. You said I'm calling Crump a legend. I don't call him a legend just because. I call him a legend because of his history and the work that he's put in. Ben Crump has won over $3 billion in litigations. $3 billion he's won over in litigations. Ben Crump has had legendary cases that he's been a part of. He's had situations where people thought that they were just accidental deaths, and he's proven otherwise. He's one of them ones, man. And there ain't no doubt about it, and there ain't nothing you can do to stop it. And because the people unknowingly knew that they funded, I should say, funded a independent investigation that'll probably find something they never thought. Everybody was mad. Ben Crump people don't give a fuck about nobody down there. They're going to investigate everything. Number two, let's read this again. The history of Horn Island. We ain't even talking about this case. We're talking about before this case, y'all. Read what it says, number two. I need y'all to read number two very closely. When y'all look at the history of Mississippi, we also have to look at the history of Horn Island. The history of Horn Island. That is very important, ladies and gentlemen. The history of Horn Island. Let's read that again. In fact, let me blow that up. Horn Island, Mississippi. You always have to look at the history. Now let's look at the history. Let's blow that up. For decades, not just this past year, decades, Horn Island has been widely known for large, unregulated holiday boat gatherings such as Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. Local law enforcement and residents have frequently complained about the island's culture. Because Horn Island is a part of the Gulf Islands National Seashore and designated as a federal wilderness area, it is primarily under the jurisdiction of the NPS National Park Service. Read the second paragraph. Prior complaints. See, Al Sharpton said something. He said we got to look at your history before we can determine what the hell is wrong. Prior complaints. With very few park rangers patrolling thousands of acres, locals have frequently documented and alleged rampant underage drinking, recreational marijuana usage, and the use of illicit party narcotics during these massive raft up parties. Local sheriff departments have historically noted, think about this, it's almost like turn the blind eye. That they would, man, well, we lack the jurisdiction. Perfect place for foolishness. Or watercraft to consistently police federal island territory, leaving it largely self-governed by the borders. Now, what happens if Ben Crump comes down here, finds out something he ain't supposed to find out, and now closes down all that Horn Island shit? Man, I'm telling y'all, I wish I was a fly on the wall just to hear when they were doing the autopsy, the time they estimated that Nolan Wells died. And the day they released that toxicology, and the day they released their private investigations and who they're investigating, because they obviously aren't investigating those boys. Those boys would have been arrested. Ben Crump would have been out here. Black. Think about this. I want everybody to use your brain. Use your brain. Everybody on YouTube is hooting and hollering. Why they ain't arrest them boys? Why they ain't arrest them boys? But one person has not been saying that. And that's the man on the left-hand side of your screen. Ben Crump has not been saying that. You better believe Ben Crump knows something we don't know. They talk to everybody on that fucking island, and you better believe them people talking down on that island. They talking. See, them locals who live out close to there, who tired of seeing all that shit going, who nobody paid attention, you better believe they talking to the investigators. Why would you hate Ben Crump? Because Ben Crump will come out here and say shit they can't filter him from saying. See, when your mind is so small and so closed, you'll believe any bullshit that somebody come on the internet and just tell you anything. But when you really understand how deep this shit is and what Ben Crump may have stumbled on, see, if it's a local investigation, you can control the scope of that investigation. But when it's a national independent investigation, when you got the fucking FBI down there asking questions because Ben Crump don't sound the alarms, now you got a real problem. Now it makes sense why Ben Crump wants to see and the family wants everybody's messages, not only them boys. See, this is the part they didn't tell y'all. Ben Crump want all the messages from police, from everybody. They send subpoenas. See, with Ben Crump done, nobody can be protected. I think Tatum understands this. But I just need to know, and the question I have is, who put Tatum up to this? I would ask Tatum that. Did anybody put you up to this? Right? Right? And to the person who says his job is to keep us divided, it's not to keep us divided. And I'm going to prove you wrong on that too. You know why? You're a liar, Raider Nation, and you say keep us divided? Here's one thing you didn't notice, and I'm going to tell you something. I can tell you don't have critical thinking skills. How can Ben Crump be a racist and his secretary is Asian, chump? How can Ben Crump be racist and his investigators are white, chump? You want me to keep going? See, when they had the press conference, the little Asian woman that went up there and talked, she worked with Ben Crump. She ain't black. The private investigator that went up there, he was white. He ain't black. So Ben Crump has never shown you that he holds racist thoughts in his mind. In fact, his actions speak differently. See, if this was just a all black, I hate white people thing from Ben Crump would have hired all black investigators. He would have a all black staff. Everything would have been, but Ben Crump has diversity. And Ben Crump not one time has said that any of those boys were racist. The only thing he said is that if it was 4 black boys and one white boy came back, didn't come back, and he was dead, the investigation would have been different from the jump. He's not lying. He's not lying. See, it ain't my fault that you feel uncomfortable about Ben Crump. That's your fault if you feel uncomfortable about Ben Crump. Because, see, if the shoe fit, nigga, wear it. If the shoe fit, wear it. Wear it. See, I'm telling y'all something. The only mofos that's really going to get mad at Ben Crump is them big money mofos. They're the only people that's really going to be upset with Ben Crump. The big money mofos that y'all don't even see that's in the background that benefits and profits. Ben Crump come around, shut down Horn Island, that could fuck up a whole lot of shit. Why? Because as I told y'all, Horn Island is basically the land of the lawless. I believe Ben Crump's investigators, and here's the smart thing about Ben Crump. Let me say this to you right here. Let me say this to you right here. Here's the smart thing about Ben Crump, and here's why I know Ben Crump is smart as fuck. Ben Crump's in a white town. He know them white folks gonna talk to white investigators. Very smart. Very smart. See, the white dude that he brought up to the press conference that's investigating this case, yeah, they're gonna talk to them. That white dude gonna knock on their door, them locals gonna talk. More than they would talk to anyone else. Don't get mad, man. I'm just telling everybody, I'm prepping y'all. And I'm telling y'all this. This will go down as Big Crump's biggest case ever. Ever. And when the whole truth comes out, I think a lot of people on YouTube, I told y'all, the question y'all need to be asking is what the person's name Tatum say he got. Because it goes from, if Tatum's telling the truth about that person, then it goes from who that person is and who's over that person to rabbit hole run deep. In fact, how far down the pipeline does it go? Or up the pipeline? Try to tell y'all. When I come on YouTube, man, and I do what I do what I can do when I can do it. And what put me onto this is because they said it was multiple fights out there that day. And I said, how was it multiple fights and there was no cops out there? There was no reports of cops out there or nobody breaking these fights up. The boy Tristan, they say he got in a fight. His daddy made him go home, not the cops. There were other fights out there. You ain't see no cops out there. That let me know right there. I said, hold on, this shit right here is suspicious. Then they said it was a fight at 5 o'clock. Let me know what area you know a whole bunch of people can go underage, drink, and not get busted in the United States of America. But Horn Island seemed like it was a perfect place. Land of the lawless. We'll see, man. Tatum, give that name up, buddy. You said that you would tell us the name, but you would tell the cops first. Get that name up. Y'all notice Tatum never talked about that name again. Did somebody tell Tatum? Tatum, did somebody tell you to shut up and not say that name? Ladies and gentlemen, hey man, this shit to be continued, man. I just wanted to show y'all though. Don't take my word for it. Look at that, y'all. How can the police patrol that? Think about what I just said to y'all. That's Horn Island. The land of the lawless. No homes, no nothing out there. Just wilderness. And everybody goes there. No electricity, no nothing. Right? I want everybody to do their research. Don't take my word for it. Do your research on Horn Island. Go do your research. And I want everybody to come back in the comment section and put as many articles as y'all can find, or many news stories as y'all can find over the years about Horn Island. Why did nobody research Horn Island? I bet you Ben Crump is. Imagine if you had a place where no cops, no patrol rangers, not really many neighbors, nobody was fucking with you. You could just go and do whatever you wanted to do. Basically be off the grid. Tell me what y'all find about the history of Horn Island. We may find out something super disgusting, y'all. I don't think Nolan death was accidental. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. But I don't think those boys did it either on that boat. Nah, not them boys. Mm-mm. I'm investigating who was on that island after they left. That's who I want to talk to. Like, share, subscribe, y'all. All right? And you better believe, I will say this. Let me say this to everybody. There's questions that need to be asked. Question number one, y'all. Where did those young fellas get all those beers from? That's question number one, right? Question number one. Right? Question number two. Question number two. Right? Question number two. I just thought about something, y'all. I just thought about something. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on one second. Who gave them, the underage youngins, who sold them that beer? How did they get it? Did the parents know that they were drinking underage? Because they had this stuff on photos. So did the parents know? And on top of that, this person's name that Tatum put out, Tatum says somebody gave him that name. Who gave Tatum that name, and how did they know that person? Right? The boat did not go back to that area. That's not true. But we're gonna find out a lot. Like, share, subscribe, man. We're gonna find out a lot. How many people had that boy's contact? The name he said. To the person, y'all keep saying Bart. I don't believe Bart had anything to do with this stuff. You guys are character assassinating a person that you don't even know. And I think that's sad. I think we should wait to see what the investigation says first from both Ben Crump and, see, I'm gonna tell y'all something, black folks. You guys are saying shit Ben Crump ain't even saying. You're saying stuff that Ben Crump's not even saying. Think about that. You'll come on the internet and say stuff that the lawyer's not even saying. That's wild, bro. That's wild. Like, share, subscribe. Wait and listen to what Ben Crump got to say. It's going to be very interesting. But I want to know everybody who had contact with that person's name, Ben Crump, Tatum said he got. Period. I heard the recording. The other one, like I said, I heard the raw one and I heard the alleged edited one. There's no way the edited one could be 20 seconds longer unless it was tampered with, period. That won't be a factor. You'll never hear Ben Crump talk about that audio. Like, share, subscribe.
Hey, we always appreciate the support, and if you guys want to do so, you can use the Cash App or PayPal links. They'll be in the description box below this video or pinned at the top of the comments. The top donators will be announced every month. All right, you guys, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure y'all cop the merch, and make sure that you get the weight loss formula. The links to that will be in the description box below this video. Check out our next video coming up right now.